What's up, YouTube? And welcome back to another Great League Season 22 video. Today I am showcasing Dragalge. Dragalge is a poison dragon type which got access to Sludge Bomb, which super improves its pacing, which is super nice. It's got a really cool typing, poison and dragon, and it is only weak to dragon, ground, ice, and psychic. With loads of resistances, double resisting grass and single resisting water, poison, fire, fighting, electric, and bug. You're going to kind of see why we cover it with the two Pokemon that we do in the back, Golisopod and Corviknight, because Golisopod, it resists ground and ice, and it hits super effective with X-Scissor on Psychic, and then is neutral into the dragons, and then Corviknight resisting dragon and Psychic and ground, and then just kind of neutral into the ices. So let's take a look at the battles. I unfortunately did record this entire video and then had it just ran my video recording software just shut down right at the end of my video and just didn't save any of it, so that's super awesome. So here we go again. But either way, great lead in this first match. Superior, everything they like Vine Whip, Frenzy Plant, everything's double resisted, so they get out of that matchup into a wall rain. And we have a perfect response with Golisopod here, resisting Earthquake and Icicle Spear. And we throw on CMP, so we can actually let this go because we don't really need Switch. We have two Pokemon that double resist Grass. Their Superior has nowhere to go into my team, so what is that Pokemon in the back is the question. It's a Blastoise. And it looks like my opponent did get one turn lag there, which is pretty unfortunate for them, but you're going to see in maybe not some of these matchups, but I've got videos coming where I have some of the worst one-turn lag I have ever seen, even two-turn lag on coming in, which is just ridiculous. That being said, we are able to connect with the Sludge Bomb, get the full farm down, come out with basically another Sludge Bomb loaded, and they actually shield this up, but unfortunately for my opponent, especially when you throw in alignment and give me an entire free fast move, one Aerial Ace is not enough to KO from this range. Dragalge has some decent bulk to it, and Sludge Bomb, its stab, you get to it pretty quickly, and it basically KOs Superior from that range, which is crazy. But a very nice win in that first match. A bit of an awkward lead in the next match. We've got Togedemaru, which is obviously resisting the Dragon Tails with its steel typing, but everything they have is resisted as well. Both Fell Stinger and Wild Charge is resisted. My opponent is opting to Fell Stinger first to just try and boost their attack, but I still don't think a boosted Wild Charge KOs from this range, so I will let this go. And it is just another Fell Stinger, and then they get out into Azumarill, and now this is not as good of a matchup as it used to be. Azumarill, your bubbles are resisted, and my Sludge Bombs are super effective. Able to get the catch onto the Corviknight. Could have potentially caught in the Golisopod and then resisted the bubbles, but this is still a fine matchup here for us because even another Ice Beam plus these bubbles will not be enough to KO. So we go for this Sky Attack before they make their next move, and they actually opt to Shield, which is pretty interesting. I'm still going to no Shield. I don't really feel the need to here, and then they come back in with Togedemaru. I believe this is only enough for a Fell Stinger. And it is, so yeah, we're able to get the full farm down, still have two shields in play, also able to get to a Sky Attack to take out the Azumarill or grab this last shield, and we do get the KO, so now I've got a 2-shield scenario here. I do just go for the Aqua Jet here because I was just kind of curious to see how much it did. It is the better damage per energy move, but obviously you go for the super effective X-Scissor if you're in this matchup, and obviously now they're going to go for the Rock Tomb and debuff my attack. That being said, we saw an Aqua Jet do 50%, so obviously a super effective X-Scissor is still going to be more than enough. My opponent knows they have to live this in order to have a chance, so they just let it go, and we're able to take that win. Okay, bad lead. Psywave is super effective on Dragalge, so we do get out of that matchup, and we come in with Golisopod, and unfortunately my opponent is ABA Water with two of the brand new meta Pokemon with Lapras and Blastoise. And the thing about Blastoise is if you're running Skull Bash, your pacing is not great. And unfortunately, that means I can get to back-to-back X Scissors before they can make it to a second Skull Bash. And even though these rollouts are super effective, we've got them into the red with that X Scissor plus these claws. So now able to grab both shields back in this matchup and CMP tie them with the Skull Bash. I think I was definitely in Hydro Cannon range from that at that point, so I'm not sure why they didn't go for it there. But able to flip switch with shield advantage, now align our Corviknight onto this Lapras. Psywave is resisted. Obviously Sparkling Aria is neutral here, and it is a really strong move, but Lapras is a bulky Pokemon. It doesn't have the best attack. So it looks like we're going to be able to take 2 of those no problem, which we are, and they're not going to be able to Psywave farm down. Able to just go for the Sky Attack here. This will do some decent chip, but it will not KO. Wow, that is some pretty incredible bulk by the Lapras there. At this point, I can just let this go. They are in Dragon Tail farm down range, and I can probably get the full farm down before they even make it to a move, which is huge. And then it's Golurk in the back. I thought it was going to be Runerigus by the typing, but no, Golurk. And one Aqua Tail does so much damage to Shadow Golurk, and we are able to take that win. Okay, into the next match, we've got a Drapion on the lead. This is a pretty good lead. I believe we win even shield scenarios here, so my opponent does farm up, throws right before I can throw in good timing, goes for the crunch. They do get the defense fall, which is pretty unfortunate, but one Aqua Tail will put them pretty deep into the red. My opponent knows that, so they do shield. Am I going to let this go, or I'm going to fight for switch? I'm letting this go. That's actually kind of surprising. I'm surprised I didn't want to take it in the one shield. But they meet my Corviknight with Dugong, and we have a great response. Gliscod resisting Ice Shard, Icy Wind, and Drill Run here. So my opponent just opting for the Icy Wind to debuff my attack. We can go for these neutral X Scissors, which is nice, but you can just see those just do no damage to the bulky Dugong. Fortunately, we do have a pacing advantage in this matchup, able to get to 2 X Scissors before they make it to the next move. I'm not threatened by any one move here. Even if they go for the harder hitting Drill Run, it's not going to be enough, and they do just go for the Icy Wind, and then I am able to get to another X Scissors, so this will be enough to KO. So what is that in the... Oh, they shield, actually. That's kind of surprising. They bank the move, and then they come in with Blastoise. So that's pretty interesting. They've got energy on the Dugong. They've got a little bit of residual on the Drapion, and now they've got a Blastoise with 0 shield. It is the Shadow Blastoise, so this Sky Attack will do a lot of damage, but it's still not enough to KO. The question is, can I get a full Sand Attack farm down before they're able to get to a 3rd Hydro Cannon? And it looks like the answer is no, unfortunately, so I have to throw this move before they get to it. And we do successfully knock it out. Still pretty healthy on our Corviknight. What are they going to come in with is the question. They come in with Drapion, so we go for the catch right as they get to the crunch. My opponent makes the exact same play, going for a potential CMP sack swap there, I think. And able to get the full farm down with the Sand Attacks, come out with a move loaded. A crunch will hurt, but it will not be enough to KO the bulky Corviknight from this range. Living in the red, super nice, able to get to a Sky Attack. This will be way more than enough to KO, and we're able to take that win. Okay, into the next match. Vaporeon on the lead. So this is obviously a great lead for us. Everything is resisted here except for Last Resort, but they don't even farm up to it, and they throw on Alignment, so I'm guessing this is just a lower ranked battler. They do go for a catch, but they were about to catch a super effective Sludge Bomb, a double super effective Sludge Bomb on their Whimsicott. They actually shield that up, which is pretty interesting. And then we come in with the Corviknight to completely wall this thing. This will be enough to just about KO, not quite, but able to get the Sand Attack farm down afterwards and come out with loads of energy. They have Manectric in the back, and looks like they're on Snarl, so we're able to outpace, get to the payback here, and it looks like my opponent may have force closed the app. Yeah, so I'm just going to cut this to the next battle. Okay, Dragalge against Annihilate. This is a pretty good lead. They come in with Lapras. We meet them with the Gliscod right away, able to outpace. The only thing we're worried about here is a Skull Bash, but because they don't shield the first, that has me thinking that they might not be on it. So I'm just going to let this go. I should be able to take this in the zeros because our charge move is neutral, whereas theirs is resisted, and both of our fast moves are non-stab and neutral. But it looks like with resisted moves in the zeros, their Lapras just meet my good IV Gillespod to flip switch, which is, I mean, that is just absurd. That is the strength of Lapras, and unfortunately for me, they've got Carbink in the back, so I think I've just lost this game because of that. Granted, my moveset would be completely walled on Carbink, my charge moveset, but it would still not be a great matchup for the Carbink, and we weren't able to grab shield, so it's not like I can just 2-shield through the Annihilate, because they can just shield up the Sky attacks, boost their counters, and then fully farm me down, especially after I no-shield the first, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to 2-shield their Annihilate, but now they are boosted. I do get a Dragon Tail through, which is pretty nice, but I just do not see a win. Ooh, they full send a Shadow Ball. That's pretty cool. And then they throw on Alignment. Okay, my opponent doing everything they can to keep me in this matchup, I guess, but I still don't think it's going to be enough. I would have to make it to, I think, 3 Aqua Tails here. Carbink is just so bulky. Yeah, I mean, maybe even 4. Like, that's absurd. And the Dragon Tails, they're double resisted here, so they're doing absolutely no damage. And that's really where the strength of Dragalge comes in here. So can we get to a move? We cannot. So my opponent able to flip switch in that mid game and take the win because of it. Okay, into the next match, we've got Groddle. So this is a Razor Leaf for typically. So just going to stay in this matchup. Looks like my opponent actually might be lagging a little bit. Here they are. They finally get their overfarm just a slight bit. Go for the Sludge Bomb because this is a dominant matchup either way. Their Razor Leaves are double resisted. Oh, and it looks like they're just core broken by a dragon, basically, in general. And they come in with their Talonflame, which is pretty interesting. So whatever is in back must also be super weak to the dragon typing. And then they go Flame Charge. That's a pretty decent bait, just boosting their attack. And then they try and go for either an Aqua Tail or Sludge Bomb catch on their on their Jellicent here, thinking Jays. And we are able to meet them with Gillespod, go for these super effective Shadow Claws, and even though our moveset is completely walled here, a charge moveset is completely walled here, this is still an okay matchup just because of their fast move pressure. And we did chip with a few Dragon Tails, so this is looking like we're going to be in a pretty good spot. They're also on Bubble, so they have no farm down pressure. I don't know why you'd be on Bubble after Hex just got buffed, but either way, my opponent going to get hit with the Aqua Jet with no shields, and we're able to take that win. Okay, Wheezing, Galarian Wheezing at that. I do have to specify now because as you're going to see in a future video coming up, Kanto Wheezing might have some play, so they do go for the Sludge Chip before they eventually get out into Lapras. So unfortunately, my opponent is going to be able to maintain Switch. There's nothing really I can do about that in this scenario. That being said, we are able to get to back-to-back X Scissors, and it looks like we might even be able to make it. No, not quite. But my opponent throws either way. So you know what? A little bit of support from my opponent there. Unfortunately, getting a Sand Attack farm down would be really tough. I kind of just have to let this go. It doesn't have any play into the Wheezing in the front, and they actually are running Ice Beam. And now I come in with the Corviknight, and fortunately for me, they are core broken by the Corviknight, which is super nice. Wheezing and Credilli both have negative matchups into the Corviknight. That being said, if they shield both of my charge moves and then go for double Rock Tomb before I can even get to, yeah, this is gonna be rough. The only way I can see any play out of this is getting a catch of the next one, which would also reset the debuff. A little bit of foreshadowing there. So yeah, we catch, reset the debuff, and waste that debuff from the Rock Tomb. So now these charge moves are going to be neutral, and they're going to be coming fast. We banked all that energy. They do come back in with the wheezing. We do farm up here, going for the sky attack once again right before they make it to the next brutal swing, but I don't think this is quite going to be enough to KO. It's an instance where I really wish I had Iron Head, because Iron Head hits super effective on both these Pokemon and it has better pacing. And I think that would have been the win. But my problem here is I'm going to get to a sky attack, and this is going to do good chip, but it's not going to be enough to KO, and they're going to outpace to a move. And unfortunately, deciding to remove Iron Head from like that move pool has cost me in that matchup. But I still think Payback is the better move set in general, but I guess we'll see this season. Either way, picking up a decent lead in the first match, and they come in with Swalot. Now Swalot has access to the buff Sludge, which is why I come in with Corviknight here. Non-stab Ice Beams plus Mud Shots, they're not going to be able to do anything here. I am just going to be able to get these super effective sand attacks off, and it's going to take 3 charge moves for them to KO me here. I farm up to basically 100 energy, go for the sky attack. It's actually not enough to KO Swalot, surprisingly bulky. I guess I'm just going to shield this up, go for the sand attack farm down. Yeah, they do full send the Ice Beam, which is pretty nice, so we're able to get the full farm down, come out with 100 energy, and then they have the Blastoise on the lead. I'm going to be able to either get 2 free sky attacks off here or grab a shield back, which is exactly what we need. Ended up going for the payback here just because I haven't got an opportunity to use it yet, so may as well use it here, and we do grab a shield back, so that's pretty huge. They do have enough for a potential Ice Beam here, but they actually switch out, and then they come in with Guzzlord. I'm going to throw, get either Chip or that last shield, so that way this X-Scissor can go through. I'm not threatened by any one move here. I'm going to save the shield for the Ice Beam. So I'm going to let the Crunch go, get off this super effective X-Scissor onto the Guzzlord. Wow, nearly one-shots. That's crazy. And they put me into like 1 rollout farm down range, which is actually really nice, because now I can just come in with Dragalge, and if I correctly shield this up, they're actually on Skull Bash, which does buff their defense, but unfortunately Skull Bash's pacing isn't great, and because of that, with Hydro Cannon resisted, I am able to outpace, so that the new pacing with Sludge Bomb on Dragalge coming in clutch there to take that win. Into, I believe, either the second to last or the last match of the video, we've got Drapion on the lead. This is a good lead for us, and I think I'm going to play this one out differently than I did last time, because the last time I gave up Switch and it didn't really work out. So I'm just going to go for the Aqua Tail. So far playing it out the exact same, but this time I think I'm just going to shield, especially because they throw in a little bit of awkward timing, and then they just go for an Aqua Tail, which means that unfortunately I'm not going to be able to get the full farm down, but I can take it in the 1 still, and that's exactly what we're going to do. What is that Pokemon in the back? What do they want to come in with? And they're going to come in with Blastoise. Can I get to a Sludge Bomb? I can. Once again, this coverage move on Dragalge makes it like so viable now. It's still not great in the Great League. I cannot wait to try that thing in Ultra League though. Oh my god. I'm so going to build one this season once I get the Excels. Either way, I get 1 turn lag as I come in, but that doesn't really matter. I'm just coming in with a Gillespie to soak up all these resisted Hydros. They do actually go for Skull Bash on the second, and then there's Corviknight in the back. And now this is where it's nice to have payback. And because they switched in late and then through, I know this can't be a payback, because there's no way they could outpace me by that, like by doing that. And they just go straight Iron Head. Sky Attack is the better damage for energy move, so if you're ever in the mirror and both moves are resisted, go straight Sky Attack. Just because Iron Head is Legacy does not make it a good move. And fortunately for us, we can eat Iron Heads for days, and looks like we're going to be able to take them out with just 2 paybacks, which is super nice. The only thing I have to be worried about here is a catch. So I'm going to let this go. I know I can live 1 more Iron Head, and they cannot sand attack farm me down. So I over farm, and then as soon as I throw, somehow my opponent has perfect intuition. Like that's like maybe the most crazy catch I've ever seen of all time. Is it enough though? Can they make it to 2 Iron Heads now before I can make it to another payback? You saw I completely undercharged it, but it's still KO'd. But fortunately for me, still able to get the KO with the payback, and we're able to take that win. So yeah, that is Dragalge with the new moveset of Sludge Bomb. Obviously, a great pairing with Glisspot and Corviknight in the back, which definitely carried their own weight. But honestly, Dragalge really surprised me, especially with the amount of Psywave users that I saw in these matchups. I was like pleasantly surprised by the outcome of the different matchups that it had, and just the bait potential, and just so much better pacing and decent bulk and really cool, unique typing. I think it does have an opportunity to be good. I think definitely look out for it in limited metas this season, and then definitely maybe even check it out in the Ultra League. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, peace.